Hello, welcome to Swiss Watch Cam. Today with a review of a brand which we had already on the show. Today we're going to talk about the Tudor Black Bay P01. The P in the name of this watch actually stands for prototype, and this watch was revived in 2019. In the same year it actually won the GPAG award in the challenge category. In the challenge category you can find watches below 4,000 Swiss francs. For those wondering, this watch actually costs you 3,800 Swiss francs, and it comes in stainless steel with a beautiful brown strap with a rubber on the bottom. The P01 is actually kind of a mystery watch, but it's been proven to be legitimate in the history of Tudor, and also there are patents which prove its validity. In the 1960s, when brands helped the US Navy and different military divisions, Tudor actually tried to create this watch for them. What happened at the end actually that the US Navy didn't choose this watch for their project, but went with another brand. The project was then codenamed Commando, and 2 watches were kept at Tudor and 2 went to the US Navy. For me, this kind of watch is very quirky. It falls in the category either you love it or hate it, or sometimes it grows on you. In the same year that this watch was introduced to the Navy was actually the same era of the Omega Ploprof, which again is a very special watch which divides the audience. I personally love it. It's surprisingly very comfortable due to the Milanese bracelet. So this watch also I think is in that category. It's, let's say, so quirky that you kind of like it. This watch falls in the Black Bay family, as you can clearly notice by the snowflake-shaped seconds and hour hand. What's different to the Black Bay family is that this watch actually doesn't have applied indexes with lume, but the lume dots here are actually applied on the dial itself. They are, so to speak, printed. At 6 o'clock you have a few inscriptions, and you can see that the watch is actually waterproof to 200 meters. At 3 o'clock you have the date window, as is similar to the GMT watch from Tudor, and it doesn't have a cyclops. Why do I mention the cyclops on the crystal? Is because Tudor is in the same family as Rolex. I really like the contrast between the indexes and the hands, and also the rich black dial. The indexes kind of strike me a bit patinated to give it more of this vintage feel. What's really quirky about this watch is the bezel and the crown at 4 o'clock. They say that the crown at 4 o'clock is a bit more secure than at 3 o'clock, but also the watch has crown guards, so arguably it doesn't really matter that much. The first thing you probably notice when you see this watch live or on the pictures is this weird component here on top. It's actually a bezel locking system which prevents the bezel in its natural form like it is now to move. So you see, now I cannot move the bezel. So how to use the bezel here is actually pretty easy. You have a button here and then you just press it down and you see it will unlock. Now that this is unlocked, you can actually turn the bezel to your wished time. It's a bidirectional bezel, so you can turn it left or right, and once you set it up you just press it back in and it goes into place. The lower part doesn't move, it's just the upper part that moves. The shape of the case, the position of the crown, and the strap extensions here are not the only quirky thing about this watch. You might notice that the bezel actually features hours instead of minutes. So for divers, you usually have a 15-minute marker where the diver knows to go back up to the surface, or if he needs to check his equipment. I'm not really sure why Tudor in this instance used hours on the bezel instead of minutes, but if you know, leave a comment down below and maybe we can figure this out together. The whole case is actually made out of stainless steel and is satin finished with very rough edges as were used in the Black Bay family. The crown features the Tudor shield here, which is their typical logo, and it's a bit more rough. It's good actually because you can grip it better, and it's also a screw-down crown. Turning the watch around, you see it has a closed case back, which for divers watches is very typical. And it's useful because you don't need an excavation case back underwater. And also, you want to make the case as watertight as you can. What is behind this closed case back though is very impressive. The watch features a manufacturer movement which is COSC certified. It has also 70 hours of power reserve and a free sprung balance and a silicone hairspring. Let me now show you guys how this watch looks on my wrist. As you can see, the watch has a deployant clasp with the Tudor name inscribed on it. And once you close the buckle on your wrist, you can see it has the beautiful Tudor shield here as well. Turning the watch around, you can see that it's not that high. It's actually 13 millimeters. It might not fit under the cuff, but if you loosen up a bit, maybe it can. The watch on the wrist is very unique. Again, I personally like it because it stands out. Usually, big brands don't dare to try and make, these like daring designs. So I really, applaud Tudor for, trying this. And I think it's been a success so far. One of my friends actually has one and I know he's enjoying it. What I know I would be doing the whole time if I would own this watch is I would probably play with this here. So I would, open it up, close it down, open up, close down. Again, not the best thing to do with a watch probably. I'm really curious to see if Tudor will, build on this line of watches and maybe introduce, different cases in the future. I would be curious to see something, quirky like that as well. Let me know now what do you think about this watch. What do you think about the case design, the strap here with this integrated link? And why did they decide to put an hour bezel here? I'm really curious. On the side you have a photo of a watch we'll be reviewing next time on the channel. It's a brand we haven't featured yet, but it's a bigger brand, a very well-known one, and also it was requested by one of our viewers. Also, if you like the channel and the videos, subscribe, leave a like, and maybe share this video with a fellow Tudor enthusiast. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.